Welcome to Brave Alliance Episode 2. I am Nick, aka JRPG Live. I'm with Rudy, aka Lethality. What's up, Rudy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. How's your Exvius week been going?
Pretty good. Disappointing start with the banner that we were talking about in episode 1 with Dark Knight, Cecil, and Lunith as the main attractions. Didn't get any of them after, I think, 411 pulls and a lot of tickets, so
Oh,
pretty salty.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even pull on this banner. I avoided it like the plague because I didn't really need anything, and I'm saving up for Nier. Like a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yes. I think a good 90% of us are all waiting for Nier,
Oh, yeah. So,
at least.
we did get a couple of other cool things extra that we weren't aware of, like the recent anniversary bonus where we get 50 extra lapis a day, where it's like the 100 lapis bonus daily if you
For
complete all your stuff.
is it for the next, I think it's the next week, right?
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then we had the 3-day thank you from Gumi, just randomly. I don't know what they're even thanking us for. They're just like, here you go. So I
It's
said,
like, thanks for logging in for the last 3 days.
Yeah,
Here,
pretty
have
much.
3 advanced tokens, a 1% Moogle, and a summoning ticket.
yeah.
It's
So,
not a
I
big
mean,
deal,
yeah.
but it's still welcome. So that's
Yeah.
always nice to have an extra little message in your mailbox,
Yeah,
especially the
so,
ticket. Who knows? You can get a 5-star base.
yeah. It's true. I've gotten a 5-star base off a ticket. It was delayed, but I mean, he's still 5-star, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah. So we do have one other random event going on right now, and that's the Portal app login, and they're giving away a couple of things depending on the milestone, and I forget exactly what they are, but I think it's like 1.35 million milestone. I don't know exactly how points are generated, but 1.3 million ish points, and we get 3 summon tickets and 5 star courts or something. And
yeah,
that's
something
pretty
like that.
legit, so I'll take that. All you have to do is log in. So, I mean, hell, it's free. So, we had a week of the current story expedition event for Brave Exvius. I forget the actual name of it, but it's been going on, and it was all right. The rewards were okay. What do you think about it?
I think the rewards were pretty good. I mean, for the most part, I mean, there were a couple things that weren't amazing. Start off the dwarf katana, 70 attack, bit of an underwhelming weapon. For those of us who have already farmed the Sakura Fubuki or that have completed the Gilgamesh trial and have
Right.
gotten the Genji blade, it's an underwhelming katana, but nonetheless, it is a katana. I don't think it had any kind of element to it either,
No, it
so
didn't.
overall it is a very underwhelming katana, but if you don't have a katana and you happen to have a Chizuru main, there you go.
Yeah, my beef with the dwarf katana is that Kiyomori exists, and it's one of the best event katanas to have been released, and I don't have it, and there hasn't been anything like it. And something I wanted to talk about, well, I just wanted to touch on it, is that the Gumi is not really releasing evasion weapons anymore. They're 5%, and Kiyomori is 10%, and I can't get my hands on a 10% weapon anymore. And I'm a little salty, Gumi, so take note.
Yeah.
Because Zil Crossblade, or Zwil Crossblade, is coming up with the Final Fantasy Tactics event. We'll get to that. But that's, again, a 5%, and the last evasion weapon we had was 5%. So give me a 10%. Dwarf Katana was, I mean, I don't know why dwarfs would have evasion, but you put something on there because it sucks.
Yeah. Other notable items that were available were the Elven Gloves, which is by far on the complete other side of the spectrum.
Agree.
I think it's a very, very good item. Obviously, it's ideal for certain things. It's not the greatest, and I don't think it's going to be taking over any particular accessories anytime soon. But it does give you that 20% MP, the wind and light resistance by 30%,
Yeah.
and the Song of Memories for, if you happen to have a support that you need something a little extra. It is a heal and refresh for 3 turns, but keep in mind it is a song, so that unit does become useless for the next 3 turns from the moment you start using it.
Right. I'm not a big fan of the song on there, but I mean, 20% MP, hell yeah, sign me up. And the resistance built in is just a bonus, so awesome.
Yeah.
Overall. Don't care about the song.
Yeah. Also, touching back on the Kiyomori, it was a King Mog, or it was a King Mog turn-in event.
Yeah.
As opposed to an expedition. So those of you who did not get to grab it when you guys were around, or for those of you who are new players or newer players, you will more than likely not get a second chance at grabbing that weapon.
Yeah.
Now, there is a slight chance because there is something that did come back not that long ago, but I could be wrong. It might have been an exploration and not.
I mean,
Brave Frontier came back.
That was a King Mog that came back to an extent. It was different though. But
yeah, it was a collab, so it might be exclusive to collabs. But we'll see down the line. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring some of these things back if Gumi gets enough emails. But other big blockbuster rewards were the 500 Lapis, the 3 summon tickets. I believe there was a 5-star Moogle as well.
There's a 10% Mog.
Yeah, there's a 10% as well, but the two there was a 1.
What's there? Okay.
5%. I think there was a 5% and a 10%. 2 awakening mats of each kind, which was great. You got that poison resist towards the end on one of the final bosses, and the 20 divine crystals.
Yep, not bad. Not too bad.
Not bad at all.
I'd always appreciate a 10% Mog, so... What'd you think of the bosses? I thought they were nothing. Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I think this event overall, I think, was pretty noob friendly to an extent. I don't think it was meant to be difficult, or at least too difficult. Obviously us old timers have units that'll blow away the content anyway.
Right.
I think we probably had a bigger problem trying to actually complete the quests, the missions on each mission, as opposed to trying to actually beat the content.
Right. You just blow
of course,
everything away before
everything was everything was really easy to kill.
Right.
I think we just kind of had to hold back. I know I had to go back and finish a couple things that I missed on accident, just because I was blowing through everything so fast that, something that a lot of you may not know, particularly for the missions that require you to either do an Esper or do a certain amount of limit breaks or a limit burst. Sorry. A little tip for you guys is make sure that if you're doing limit bursts or even the Esper, you focus target one monster per turn, and just auto attack. Don't use any skills unless the skill specifically allows you to get limit crystals or Esper spheres, like Titus's quick hit. This is the easiest and the fastest way to actually get your maxed out bars, and it gives you more time as opposed to using AoE skills, which will completely kill everything. And there have been times where you just don't get enough limit burst crystals because they get, for some fucking reason, they all get spread out evenly, and everybody either are 2 or 1 crystals away, and you can't use any of your limit bursts. Same thing goes for the Esper crystals. Or the Esper spheres. So just a little tip for you guys right there. So for the future, if you guys are struggling on getting those limit bursts, definitely the way to do it. And then on your last turn, just make sure you pay attention to those limit bursts. If there's support limit bursts, go ahead and use them as soon as you get them. For example, like Paladin Cecil, it's just a party buff, so it'll consume it, and then you have a second chance at trying to get his. So definitely something to keep in mind and keep that in your knowledge bank.
Yeah, I think the easiest way I've had to generate Esper gauge is by just doing the best or longest chain I can on one enemy. I've always been able to generate crystals rather. But yeah.
Yeah. Now another thing that we want to talk about is the farming of the story event for crystals. And I'm talking about the awakening, or not the
Speaking
awakening.
of crysts, right?
Yeah, speaking of Chris, the ability awakening crystals.
Right.
So, the tech ones, the attack ones, the whole 9 yards. Gumi has been pretty transparent as far as the mechanics behind Zon and Locke, as far as their stealing abilities. They haven't really been real clear as to how to properly use them or how they properly work or how many times you can use them, and they've been completely transparent, or not transparent, sorry, completely oblivious to providing that information. And I think for the most part the community's just been trying to kind of figure out how they all work, how many times you can use them. If you use two Zons at the same time, can the other one have the same chance at doing it if they're cast at the same time, things of that nature.
Yeah, Master Thief passive has been a big question within the community. A lot of people have taken it upon themselves to try and discover what the mechanics are and how they exactly work. There was some cool stuff I read on Reddit not too long ago about a double Zon interaction with the crystals, and people were having quite a bit of luck with doubles on, so I thought that was interesting. It's weird how Gumi and even Alum hasn't came out and officially said anything about how this works. Master Thief is a global exclusive, Zon being a global exclusive, so it could just come down to Gumi not even knowing themselves how it works. They just copied some lock code and spruced it up, and it maybe does something. Who knows? They haven't told us, but like I said, Reddit detectives, they've been on it. They've been able to find some cool information and how the interactions work. So if you're interested in that, I advise you to check that out. It's easy to find. So, yeah. But they do work. And I think it's interesting that people are farming Expedition for Chris. I'm not sure if this is this was intended by Alum, if this is what they wanted you to do, but that's definitely what I've been doing, and I know a lot of other people have been doing it as well.
Yeah. Oops.
Alright, so that's pretty much all we've been dealing with lately. Oh, actually, we did have one other thing come around. That was Aigaion Trial.
Yes. The infamous robot trial.
Yeah, so did you end up beating that? I don't know.
No, no, I did not.
Okay.
I think I've done 2 attempts on stream. Both of them were pretty horrific.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I remember. I think one time, but you haven't beaten him since, huh?
I haven't attempted
haven't
to.
Tried it. Okay.
Nah, 50 energy is pretty steep to drop on the the robot trial for every event. I have been meaning to take a look at some strats and applying those to going. I have been TMR
Okay.
farming some more letters and arms for my Fravia,
Yeah.
and hopefully just running a double Fravia and then just a full squad of support and tank units and just going from there.
Yeah, that should work. The only time I did it was on release day, and I had streamed that and had some people hanging out in there. And nope, I didn't beat it that time, and I haven't done it since either, because I've been pretty much farming for crysts. I really need power crysts, and I'm currently fully awakening my Elsa, so that'll be cool. And just like that's 90 energy for that map, so I've been pretty much just doing that when I have energy. It's expensive, and
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of luck actually. I've farmed a shitload of crystals, so it's been cool. Haven't done Aigaion. I have a couple of friends that have Aigaion's fist and their stuff equipped, so that's cool. I know I have an Eileen friend that's pretty badass with artisan and Aigion's fist, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, double champ belt with the Aigaion fist and the artisan. So I think with that weapon, I think she finally breaks over 1,000.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so she's
I
another
don't
unit
recall.
that I think breaks
They
1,000.
might have had over 1,000 damage, but I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, there's also there's some other. Oh, I think there wasn't there another equipment that you get from the trial that also gives you bonus damage with
Well, it's
fist
the
weapons.
yeah, it's the ability, the
Yeah, it's a materia.
Right.
Yeah. So always I don't know what the modifier is on it. I'm gonna
50%.
assume it's 50%,
It is
just like the other
50%.
one. So yeah, I think with the 50 plus three other 30%, or using anything else, I think would be pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty cool.
What about you? Did you beat the robot trial yet?
No, I haven't beaten it. Haven't done it since. I've been meaning to do it because I know I can beat it. I definitely have no problem surviving. It was mostly dealing damage, actually, because my main DPS is Olive, and, well, we know how that works with lightning damage. It's unfortunate, too, because she has a machine killer built in, but it's been my damage. I haven't done it, but I know I can do it now. I wanted to stream it, and I've just been doing other things in the meantime, so
Yeah,
haven't
you and
done
I.
it yet.
Yeah, we've been both busy on lots of projects, so we're trying to make enough time for everything, but unfortunately, there's just not enough.
Right, and I mean, for the time, I'm just gonna put that energy towards the crysts, and with for excuse me, Mog King coming up, that'll be
Yes.
another thing. That's gonna take priority, and I don't have a fist user. That's my big thing. So I'm kind of shit out of luck
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
department. So it's not.
I mean, you have
imperative.
snow. I'm sure you have a snow somewhere around
Actually,
there.
yeah, I do have a snow now. I got one recently, but
Yeah. So, but yeah,
like
not the
imperative.
not the
Yeah,
top unit that you
right,
want to
right,
use.
right.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool, and they weren't kidding when they said he was going to be hard. He is hard. He's a lot harder than any of the other ones.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and it's definitely a fun trial. If you're not prepared, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So if you haven't done it yet and you're thinking about doing it, yeah, don't take it.
Bring the
lightly.
lube.
Right. Yeah.
Bring the lube. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great new trial for a lot of us players who have all these top tier units and
Yeah.
think we're the shit. And this trial, if you're not ready, it's definitely going to put you in your place. So
Yeah.
um,
A lot of people
Def-
were able to do it day one, but I still think they they didn't expect what it was, despite being able to complete it. Like I definitely didn't expect that. I went in there and I'm like, haha, let's attack this guy, and he's like, fuck you. So
yeah, yeah, I'm sure even the whales had a hard time the first time they tried it. So
yep. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much all of the events
post
we had.
thoughts for our robot trial and everything else going on.
Yeah, so that's everything that we've been through. So, what are we going to go through on Friday, starting Friday?
Starting Friday is the fourth Final Fantasy Tactics MOG event,
Oh,
in the
wow.
name of love.
In the name of love. Oh, jeez. Alright. Well, it's not what everybody was anticipating. Uh, Near event is supposed to be coming up. It's been announced at Paris Fan Festa, and I think some people are a little salty. Maybe, you know, there's some good event or good units, excuse me, that'll be coming with Nier that a lot of people have been looking forward to, myself included. And Final Fantasy Tactics kind of coming around, and it's just delaying what we want, right?
Yeah, just hitting us all in the feels, man. Waiting and waiting and waiting. I honestly thought when all the news came out on Tuesday as opposed to Wednesday,
Right.
I thought they were just gonna boom, drop the bomb. Here you go, guys. Here's the Nier event as well. And I was like, well, looks like I'm gonna be playing Exvius for every day,
Oh, I
every
know.
moment I get.
Yeah, that would have been the case.
But no, instead we get just the Mod King event. Who knows? Maybe after they'll just drop some random bomb on Friday and be like, "Yo, here comes the trial."
Yeah,
I
that'd
doubt
be
it,
cool. Come
but
Monday or something.
yeah.
Hopefully,
I mean,
we do get
Gumi's
another redo event on Monday. I don't know what is open, but
probably not until Aquapolis ends on Sunday.
right, okay.
Um, so we'll probably have to wait another week for the following one, but probably going to be seeing one here pretty soon. I don't doubt. I think they've only been taking 1 or 2 week breaks between each one, so I don't think it's going to be too difficult.
All right.
Wait.
Well, have you checked out the event exclusive equipment that we'll be getting from
Yes, I have, and a couple of the particular two equipments that we're looking forward to are the Zwill crossblade. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be the same Zwill that we got during the Titus event or the Final Fantasy X event.
It's the same.
I assume it's the same. I
That's why I
don't
was
know if there's gonna
complaining
be an
about it.
element. There might be an element change on it. Who knows?
That'd be
But
interesting.
yeah, because I think the other one was
that's
wind.
definitely potentially a thing. Could be.
Yeah. So that would probably be a great thing to have the similar effects, but just different element changes.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Otherwise, recycling the same weapon, one after the other, probably not the greatest idea, Gumi.
I think the idea was they're trying to cut the Kiyomori in half because the Kiyomori was so overpowered, and now they're like, okay, you can dual wield to get 10%.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Put that extra 5% on there, and we'll call it a deal.
Yeah. The 5% is actually on the defender, which is 65 attack and has crisis
okay.
evasion, which is the 5% evade.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay, but that goes for 5% evasion equipment.
Yes. Yes, it
I
does.
am salty about 5% evasion equipment. Need a new Kiyomori.
Yes, we do. Other than that, the only other exclusive rewards outside of, I think there was like a couple of things with the units, but we'll get into the units in a minute. The regenerator and the reactive defense materials.
Ah, yeah.
We don't know what they are
Global
as
exclusive
of yet.
rewards, right?
They're both global exclusive. My idea is that regenerator is probably going to be some sort of refresh with some stats on it. Reactive defense might be some kind of counter for tanks who don't have innate counter built-in. So like I think the only tank actually that doesn't have innate counter is
Warrior of Light does not.
Warrior of Light, yeah. Actually, no,
he has a
Paladin
heal
Cecil doesn't
counter,
either.
though.
Yeah.
I don't think that counts.
Yeah, it's true.
But
No,
Right.
I don't think it does. But yeah,
uh,
those are probably my two ideas.
Yeah.
from the based on the name, but I
Hmm.
obviously I'm probably going to be wrong. So
All right. Well, I was just looking to check something to see if we did have confirmation of what those abilities do, and I can't find anything at the moment. I'm sure it'll be up probably later, a couple hours from now when this video is already posted. But yeah, it'll be interesting, and it's something I look forward to. Global exclusive stuff has been impressive. It's got a good track record. Nothing that has been global exclusive has been bad. I think that's fair to say.
yeah.
Some better than others, obviously, and not everything great, but to call it bad, no, nothing has been bad, in my opinion.
No, not as of yet. No.
Nope, and I mean, I played Brave Frontier for a long time, and global exclusive stuff for Global Brave Frontier, also ran by Gumi, that's why I bring this up, that's why it's relevant, was always good. Global exclusive stuff, excuse me, just always top tier.
Yeah.
But now we have a new banner coming up, and it is pretty controversial, I think, among Brave Exvius players. How do you feel about this banner?
Yes. I personally think that this. I don't know how I feel about this. To be honest, I think it's kind of like just kind of put together and just kind of thrown in there. I
Yeah,
don't think it's really. I think this is like kind of just to prep people. This is to get you to pick up some extra materials, pick up all, the extra cactars and all that, the tickets, and getting everybody ready for the near event next week. That's what I think it's going to be. I think this is where it's really going to be going towards. So those of you who are planning on pulling on this banner, I would suggest otherwise. I mean, unless you want to get some of those bonus units early on, you always have your daily pulls. More than likely, you will be getting some of the units
yeah,
if you haven't already. It's a pretty long list of units that are going to be giving you bonuses, and I'll just give you a quick breakdown, and then we can go
yep.
into the units more in depth in a little bit. The units that are going to be available are. Give me just a second. I just had this fucking note up. Let's see. Where did it go? Okay. So we've got Mercenary Ramza, Knight Delita, Meliadul, Oran, Agrius, Gafgarian, and Alma.
Yep.
That's 7 units in one banner.
Yep.
I think that's a bit overkill on one single banner.
Yeah, it could be.
I do like the fact that there's only one 50% unit bonus for currency as opposed
Yeah.
to most other banners that have 3. There is 4 4-star base units, which are Meliadul, Oran, Agrius, and Gafgarian. Gafgarian and Agrius have been around for a while, so I'm sure one of you guys, or most of you guys, have pulled at least one or the other, potentially even Alma.
Yep.
So there's a good chance that you guys already have some bonus units sitting in your inventory, which is a bigger reason not to really pull for this banner.
Yeah.
Um,
If you have bonus units already coming in, then you don't need to pull unless we'll get to it in a bit. There's one reason I think is worthwhile to pull, but overall, like Rudy said, I would not pull on this banner.
yeah. Obviously, for newer players, it's always great. I don't particularly think any of these units are game breaking. It's not. Most of these units aren't units that are going to carry you through a good amount of content. Even the 5-star base special units, they're not quite up there. They're definitely good in their own sense if you don't have specific support units that will help you with these. But overall, I don't think this is probably going to be the banner you guys all want to pull for.
Yeah, my problem with this banner is that it's ridiculously populated. So when you pull on it, if you're hoping to get, a particular 4-star, like Oran, whatever he's translated as in Exvius. That's one of the characters that I would like to have, but he has almost the same percentage as a Rainbow Pull, because there are 4 or 3 other alongside him. There are 4 star units on this banner. Like, this is just too populated.
There's too much dilution
Yes.
in the pool of units in this banner, which I think is a big problem.
Right. Agrius is good. She will not be getting her ability awakenings on her 6-star enhancement
Just yet.
Yeah, so people who weren't aware of that, who are hoping for the budget land do, not yet. So that's one of the reasons why it's not imperative to pull. If you need bracers for some reason, good luck pulling a Gavgarion. Don't pull for that reason, because there's a 1.8 something odd % chance that you'll pull the 4-star that you want. So that is terrible. And then the fact that there is 2 5-stars, it's rough. It's rough. Meliadul has a great TMR. Chain Rope's really good. I'm a fan of it. It has 15% MP built in, I think, along with some pretty good stats. And the one reason that I had mentioned earlier that I would pull on this banner, if you got big bucks and you really want this, it's best in set armor for your tank. It gives extra 15% HP along with some awesome stats. So that's Night Delayed's TMR. I forgot exactly what it's called, but that is the saving grace of the banner, that it is a tier 1 item for your tank. Have you checked that out?
With what? I'm sorry?
Night Delayed's TMR.
Yes. Here, I actually wanted to go in depth with each individual unit. For those of you new players who are looking into their stats but don't quite have them just yet, Night Deleta is going to be a support DPS. He's going to be a 5-star base with a 100% bonus on the MOG currency. His most notable skills are going to be the weapon and shield breaks, which is 40% break for either attack or magic, I believe. Sorry, attack and defense for 5 turns. Crush weapon, which is going to be attack and magic break for 40% for 3 turns. The Strat Blade, which reduces, it's essentially a lightning imperil for 3 turns for 50%, plus a 2.5 time modifier on the attack with a 50% ignore. And then the Commanding Blade, which has the double modifier, the 2 times modifier with the same 50% defense ignore, and it's turns your attack into a lightning element. So those kind of go hand in hand. You want to use Strat Blade first and then Commanding Blade. I believe the lightning element lasts for 5 turns, so
Okay.
it gives you enough time to be able to re-Strat Blade and reduce the lightning resist with the imperil.
That's cool. I like the imperil that has 50%. Olive's only has 30%, so if I happen to get him, that'd be nice. Night Deleta would complement Olive well.
Yes. Considering that it is your top unit, yes.
Right.
Let's see, the notable traits I would have to say are the defense 20% and the HP and attack plus 30% innately. He does have an auto heal and refresh built in. He does have resistance to blind, sleep, and paralyze, which are 3 pretty common status ailments in even in an arena. Not a lot of bosses use these, and I mean, if you're pulling and you happen to get other units, having those resistances aren't going to be really noticeable. Some of the trial units, or the trial bosses, like the Dark Espers, or even Antonella, or what's her face, Echidna all have those most of those status effects. So having that is beneficial, especially with those breaks available. He does have a 30% chance to counter and has a 30 plus 30 attack with, or I think it's plus 30% attack with using a sword and
Okay.
20% while using a heavy armor.
All right. Not bad. He actually
Yeah.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
The problem is getting him.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to pull him if you plan on, whaling. Again, we highly suggest not to pull on this banner. But if your heart so desires, or if your wallet desires, definitely he's one of those units to pull for. The TMR is actually probably one of the best in slots for tanks. It's
Yeah.
called Grand Armor.
Yeah.
It has 72 defense, 28 spirit, and it does have an HP plus 15%. So I think there's only one
Yeah.
other armor
That's
that
the
gives
best armor
HP. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
for tanks for sure.
Yeah.
That's best in
Un-
slot. So
yes, it is. And it is a heavy armor, unfortunately, so a lot of units are not going to be able to use it right off the bat if you do farm it.
right.
Moving on to the other 5-star we have on this banner, which is Mercenary Ramza. Let's see here. Mercenary Ramza is also a support unit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of supports on this unit, on this banner.
Oh yeah.
Is also a 5-star base with the 100% bonus modifier for the mod currency. His most notable skills are the magic and weapon breaks, which I believe are also 40% apiece, which are called mind and weapon break respectively. Second wind, which gives you bonus 50% attack and magic for 3 turns. I believe that's single. Oh no, that's I think for all allies. Ultima, which, I mean, unless you really build Ramza for magic, it's not a great thing. If you do have mages like Dark Fina who have Ultima, or even Transterra, they both have Ultima. So using that as a chain, always great, I guess. And the 30% raise. Now that's a bit underwhelming considering how many units have full raise, or
Right.
even AoE full raise like Riku
Even
and
re-raise
Tilith,
now.
or even re-raise like Riku. The notable traits would be the 20% bonus to all stats innately.
Yeah, that's
The
nice.
biggest one, though, is the 100% resistance to all ailments. So it makes him a pretty crucial support unit to have if you do happen to pull him, just simply because of the resistances. You never really have to worry about him getting any kind of effect outside of death.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
I think if you do happen to pull him and you can build him as a mage for a really versatile arena unit, but for like trials or actual content outside of arena, he's really strange. The global exclusive passive they gave him, where if he's equipped with the robe, he gets bonus mag, is really awkward because his attack is high. Like, his mag is kind of he's a hybrid unit, but he's mostly like, as far as abilities go, he's like a support mage, which is weird because he has high innate attack stat.
Yeah.
So just a weird unit.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those hybrid units that you wonder why they built him the way they did, but they did. He does have an auto refresh built in, and notable lineage, which is the chance to protect attack about, I believe it's 75% chance, and then it has a 50% damage mitigation for both magic and physical attacks. So that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Makes him a kind of a tank support in a sense. His TMR is actually not that bad. I wouldn't say it's the greatest in slot,
Yeah, not
but
bad.
it's the what would you call it? Like the budget celestial gloves from Lunith. It gives you 3 defense, but it gives you 20% HP, MP, attack, and mag. So the HP and MP is actually not that bad. But yeah, overall, I think he's more of a tank support as opposed to a support tank. I think most of his skills kind of lean towards a tank over a support unit, but he still has those those notable traits
Yeah.
of a support.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see here. Moving on to Meliadul, who is
Okay.
a interesting unit. Kind of almost feels like they kind of just said, "All right, we're picking this tactics unit. We're giving this unit a little bit of everything everywhere and call it a day." Um, it has probably one of the better breaks out of all the units we've talked about so far, with a 40% full break for 5 turns. Or sorry, not a full break. It's an individual break, but they have this, each individual break.
Right.
It's 40% for 5 turns. It does Meliadul does have a crush weapon and armor, which is attack and magic for crush weapon, and crush armor is defense and spirit for 3 turns for the 40% as well. Heaven's Blessing is a defense and spirit enhancement for 45% for 5 turns, but it's 1 ally at a time. I think the most notable skill, which is the first the first of its kind, sort of, I guess, because of Zargabath's special buff, but it is a 100% mag increase for 3 turns for 1 ally.
Okay.
And then also has Belief, which is 60% magic increase for 1 turn, but it's for all allies. So if you just need that little extra something for your team for that next turn to finish off, that's definitely the skill you want to use.
Cool.
And Protecta and Shelga, which is the defense and spirit boost for 30 or 40% for 3 turns.
Okay. So that's cool. If you recall, or I've played Final Fantasy Tactics, she's actually kind of similar in this game from Tactics. She did have a little bit of everything, and she was primarily a breaker. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool how they are able to stick to the actual character when they're bringing them over to Exvius.
Yeah. So that's always a welcome addition to it. And Meliadul's TMR is a robe
Chain robe.
called Chain Robe. Yep. It's got 55 defense, 30 spirit, I believe, and 15% MP.
Yeah.
So
Quite
definitely
good.
a pretty decent robe. If you haven't beaten the Espers and didn't get the Siren's robe, this is definitely a good alternative for your support, whether it be Tillith, your healer, whether it be Tillith or even Riku, I guess, Refia,
Anybody
Y'shtola,
that needs some MP,
yeah, and some tankiness. It's
yeah,
definitely
'cause that
up there
extra
as far as a robe.
15% MP is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really good. And then the last new unit, I guess,
Yeah.
from the set is Oran. Also a support. I think probably the most supporty out of all of them.
I think he's the most notable 4-star on the banner.
Yeah. Definitely has a lot of good skills. I believe my personal favorite, which is kind of interesting, I've started to see a lot of units starting to acquire this, which is Nameless Song. It's not this particular skill, but just in general.
Okay.
Nameless Song, it has 4 different effects. An auto res up to 50% HP for 3 turns on any ally. A heal of 800 HP for 3 turns. A defense or a spirit buff of 40% for 3 turns. It's got a 25% chance to cast one of the songs, and I believe once it casts that song, that's what it's going to cast for the next 3 turns. Magical Refrain, which is a 50% magic increase to all your allies for 5 turns. Entrust, it's one of the other few units that have Entrust, which allows you to swap or not swap, but provide their limit burst gauge over to an ally. Also has Protectga and Shelga for the 40% defense and spirit buff. I think the biggest thing is Derive Papers. It's probably its best skill. 40% resistance to all elements for 3 turns, and a whopping 50% magic and spirit buff for 3 turns for your team.
Yeah, and Oran has dual cast this time around for global exclusive buff.
Yes, it does.
So that's one of the reasons I think he's pretty notable. He can do some cool stuff with innate dual cast now.
Yeah. And Oran's TMR is Heaven's Guidance, which is the ability
mitigate 50% mitigation for 2 turns.
40%.
40%? Okay.
Yeah, 40% for 2 turns to 1 ally.
Okay.
So that's definitely a good thing to put onto your tank, or not necessarily the tank, but somebody who can cast it on the tank.
Yeah, if you don't have anybody with mitigation, it'll be useful for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to stack for units like
I'm not sure.
Like White Knight Noel,
Right.
who has Steel, which already gives him, I think it's 80% damage mitigation. So
that's interesting.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how that's going to work.
That would be pretty cool. They end up stacking.
Yes. Now, of course, Gefgarian, Agrius, and Alma are the units that have been around for a while. I'll give you a quick breakdown of them. Agrius has
6-star.
They're both getting their 6-star, Agrius and Gefgarian. The new skills that they're going to be getting are Divine Ruination for Agrius, which is going to be not as strong as Orlando, and it's not going to have its enhancements.
Right.
So it's going to be significantly weaker. It only has, I believe, 5 hits. It's still pretty MP heavy, but it does have similar effects to Orlando's Divine Ruination.
Yep.
Let's see what else he has. Agrius also gets Royal Guard, which I think is the only other skill that Agrius gets post 80. Which is a chance to protect a female ally from physical damage by 30%. Physical damage, the 30% chance with a 50% mitigation to both magic and physical damage.
Not bad.
Yeah, and Agrius also has probably one of the better non-elemental TMR weapons, which is Save the Queen, which is 112 attack. I think it's a great sword.
Yeah, non-elemental too.
Yeah, non-elemental, and has a chance at casting Auto Protect, I believe, when your health gets low.
Yeah.
Moving on to Gefgarian, also getting his 6-star, like we said before. Does get 2 new skills, which is Unholy Sacrifice, which is almost the exact replica of Dark Knight Cecil's health. What is it? Soul Eater.
Okay.
I think, which deals dark physical damage at the cost of 40% health, with a 2.5-time multiplier, and Abyssal Blade, which is a 3.5 multiplier, and does also sacrifice 40% of your health. Other than that, I think the only other skill they get is Fell Knight, which is a trait, actually, and it gives you 30% attack, and it also has, I believe he gets innate Man-Killer? No,
Man-Eater.
Man-Eater. There we go, Man-Eater. So that's pretty sweet. And then he also has probably one of the more favorable TMR items,
Oh
which is
yeah.
Bracer. It's probably one of the most popular accessories available to anybody for anybody who has DPS units, with the 30 attack and the 15% HP.
Yep, pretty good. I don't think there is an attack accessory that is better unless you have Infernal Armlet from Halloween Reign. I think it's Infernal Armlet.
Yes.
And yeah, that'll be the best until quite a few banners from now. So
Yeah. All right. And last and definitely the least is Alma.
oh right, I totally
Uh,
forgot about her.
yeah. Oh, and all the 4-star units that we spoke about, which is Oran, Meliadul, Gafgarian, and Agrius, all have the 75% multiplier on their bonus for the currency. Elma, I mean, there's not much to say. She's a 3-star base, not a very strong unit. Um, Even if you do happen to pull her and you're fairly new, I mean, she's a very underwhelming healer. Definitely not an alternative to any unit. Um, she does have a few things that are kind of favorable, I guess, which is Cura. She does have Protect, Shell, Bravery, and Faith, which are all 20% modifiers for your stats, whether it be defense, spirit, attack, and mag, for 3 turns. She does get Curaja on her 5-star, though, which is still pretty decent. And for some reason, as a healer, she got Ultima. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But she has Ultima.
All right,
Um,
seems good.
yeah. Although, the only benefit and the only upside to her is her TMR, which is Lordly Rope. It's got probably one of the highest stat modifiers and a very defensive equipment. It is a robe, 45 defense, 35 magic and spirit, and it also casts auto protect and shell. So definitely a good TMR for a underwhelming unit.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of Lordly Robe. It's all right if you don't have anything else to work with, but with Siren's Robe available from Trial. Geez, what trial was that from?
Dark Espers.
Okay, yeah, thank you. With Siren's Robe available, that's just the better choice, in my opinion. Easier to acquire as well than farming a Trust Mastery reward.
Yeah, definitely. Outside of that, there's not much else going on this banner.
Nope. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. For the most part, I would say if you do happen to pull, I think Mercenary, Ramza, Meliadul, and Oran are probably going to be your best bets as far as the best units.
No, you
For
mean
TM
Deleta, not Ramza.
or
but
Deleta, yeah, not Ramza, yeah, sorry, Deleta. And for TMR, I would say Gefgarian, Agrius, almost just about
Deleta's
every unit
Deleta's
actually.
TMR is the reason to pull.
Yes, Deleta's. But again, if you really want to pull, if you have an urge to pull, I would suggest going for the Awakened Warriors. It is definitely an overall better banner. But if you want to go for those bonus units, I think with 111 pull, you're probably going to get a good amount of these units. And if not, you might just get 10 Almas and 1 Gefgarian. That would be the dream, sort of.
Yeah. If you want to listen to me, my advice is do not pull. I repeat, do not pull. Because Nier is coming up. And the Nier units, if you don't have if you're a free to play player and you're hoarding Lapis and you don't have all the Lapis you can for Nier, you're going to kick yourself. So don't do that. Save for Nier. It's coming. TM.
Yeah. Definitely coming real soon.
Yeah.
It's very nearby.
So it anticipated next week. I know we said that last week, but next week it's time. So
That'll mark what? I think 3 weeks now from the last raid.
Yeah, almost. I think it'll be 4. So
Yeah, I think that'll be week 4 without a raid.
right.
Um, and so we are getting a second King Mog event almost back to back. Um, I think there's only what 2 weeks difference because I think the today was the last day for the Mog. So yeah, it would be
Yeah.
essentially a second week. Um, for the turn. Hopefully, most of you guys got your turn-ins in for your moats. Unfortunately, after today, you will not be able to turn in anymore.
Right.
I don't think you might have a chance because technically the King Mog does not end or not start until Friday night. So you might still have tomorrow to exchange your currency. But if not, then you're kind of SOL.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's pretty much all we have to cover, though, for this episode. Do you
Yeah.
have any closing statements you'd like to add?
Uh, you know, Other than the fact that you probably should just save your tickets, always try to go
Oh yeah.
for those. Definitely go for the awakening materials. You're probably gonna need a lot of them if you're looking forward to the near raid. Outside of that, nothing else really. Just thank you guys all for your support. Thank you guys for watching the video on YouTube. Again, just as a kind of a reminder, we are going to be doing this every week, every Wednesday night.
Right.
We're going to be posting this Wednesday night, and it'll probably be up by then. If not, it'll be up Thursday morning. We do plan on having some, just trying to keep updated with everything. And what's that static in the background?
I don't know.
What you cooking?
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So again, guys, definitely follow us on YouTube. Hopefully down the line we will be streaming this, and making it a thing. And again, we're just working on a lot of projects. Definitely check Nick out on his Twitch, which is JRPG_live. Does definitely do a lot of RPG games, of course, based on the name. Is an avid Exvius streamer, longtime Final Fantasy player. And you can check me out at twitch.tv/lethality. I'm streaming for the most part just about every day. Yeah. What about you, man? Any closing thoughts?
Nope. That's it. Don't pull on this banner. It's garbage. Good luck getting anything of use out of it. The latest TMR is pretty sick, but good luck. We'll have links to everything in the description below, so check that out. Yeah, like Rudy said, follow us on Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that way you can see when these come up. And there'll be more things on the channel soon. We're working on a lot of stuff. That's kind of why I haven't been streaming as much lately. Cooking up a lot of things, as you can hear. So, yeah, that'll be it.
All right, boys.
That's the end of the
See
episode.
you guys.